What's going on, folks? So I had a fella reach out to me and ask if I would check out one of his songs, and I said absolutely. His name is Rafael Milhomem, and the name of this song is Steep Price. I'm looking forward to seeing what this is all about. So, without wasting any more time, let's just dive on in. Rangers, go. Interesting here. I like the folky sort of vibe here. Very, very kind of folky vibe throughout the song, and I dig that. I also like that kind of. Again, I really like the music of this song. I thought the music is pretty solid. I like that acoustic guitar playing along with like the the flute or tin whistle or whatever it is. That was really nice, and just the rhythm of the song. The whole song kind of has a nice rhythm to it. That's very easy to get engaged with and just kind of to bop to, if you will. But yeah, I'm always kind of partial. I love a folk kind of vibe and stuff like that, and this song, certainly has that. So I really enjoyed that. And again, that mixture of like acoustic guitar with electric guitar and stuff with the tin whistle or whatnot was really nice and done well, I thought. I also liked the electric guitar too. I thought the guitar playing was nice. There were some nice little melodies and riffs and stuff in there. And I'm trying to remember now. I think there was like a sort of a miniature solo sort of in there a little bit, which was cool. And yeah, overall, I thought the music worked well enough. It provided a nice foundation kind of for the song, and again, a nice vibe, and there was a nice little personality to it. I think mainly because of the folky elements, it kind of set the stage and stuff. But then I think that the chorus, it gets a bit like heavier, with the guitar riffs, and even the vocals, I think, get a little bit harsher. There's some backing vocals and stuff in there as well. And then it gets a little bit lighter again with some of the folky stuff and whatnot. So it was just an interesting kind of the way the song was constructed, but I thought it worked, for the most part. The thing that I feel like holds the song back a bit is kind of there, like in the vocals, in the vocal melody, like the verses. There's nothing really for like the listener to latch on to kind of in the verses. It almost just sounds like the lines or the words are just kind of being dropped in a rather disorganized manner. Because even like that main kind of rhythm that the song has, for the most part, even the melody and the verses, it feels like it kind of breaks that a little bit. Like you're kind of moving with the rhythm of the song, and some of the melody and the verses, some of it kind of falls in line with the rhythm, but then you get like the occasional word or something that seems to kind of break out of that sort of rhythm. So it just kind of leaves it feeling just a little bit disorganized in there. So I think the verses could be tightened up a little bit, maybe go back to the drawing board as far as a melody goes for the verses, just to kind of make it fit a little bit neater. It feels almost like you're putting together a puzzle and you're trying to put together pieces that just don't quite fit. Like you have some pieces that fit, you're plopping in some pieces, but then you have some pieces you're just kind of trying to make fit, but they just don't quite. So you end up not with a completed like puzzle. You kind of have a haphazard sort of thing. You have some completed, but some the pieces clearly just don't quite fit in there. So that's kind of how I felt about the verses. And then the chorus, if I'm not mistaken, the rhythm is there a bit more. But what I think that this song could have benefited from personally is a little bit more variety in the vocals themselves. I get that it's kind of, there's a little bit of like a harshness to the vocals. It's just kind of the approach that the artist wanted here for this song. But I think you kind of have like a clash a little bit, because you have this lightness of some of the music, like with the folky stuff and all that. And then, I think the harsher kind of approach, it works for the most part, like in the verses, just to add a little grit to it there to create a dynamic sort of between that folky lighter sound and a little bit of like a harshness, a gravelly kind of voice there. But then when you get into the chorus and the riffs get a little bit heavier and stuff, I think it would have been cool if the vocals then became a bit lighter, without that kind of harshness. If the vocals kind of soared a bit, then that would have created a really cool dynamic there between the music and the vocals in the chorus. So that way you constantly have this dynamic. It's shifting, it's moving, but it creates a cohesion throughout the song there, and it keeps it kind of feeling fresh, if you will, or just adding, creates a new element for the song, as opposed to the vocals kind of always staying like real down low here, and then the music you get a little bit lighter, but then it's heavy, but then the vocals are still kind of in the same spot. So, but the vocals always being like down here, you never get much movement there in the vocals, and I just think that would have added a whole new, breathed some more life into the song, and made it feel a little bit more organic, and a little bit more engaging even to the listener than just having the vocals down here and then the music moving a little bit. But the vocals not really changing depending on each section musically. So yeah, I just think that really would have kind of added a little something extra to the song, whereas instead it makes it feel just a little bit like redundant's not the right word. I don't think I'm looking for, just a little bit like underwhelming. Like there's no like spark, I guess. And I think even just in the chorus, if the vocals were a bit lighter, a bit more melodic, a bit more like soaring, kind of really bringing home the melody and the chorus, and I just think that would have contributed quite a bit to the song. Whereas instead, it just feels like it's not reaching like a full potential. Like it just feels like it's down here, and it's like bubbling at the surface, and it wants to go somewhere, but it's being restrained. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. I think musically, there's definitely something there. I think with the vocal melody, they could be tweaked a little bit just to fit in line with the song a little bit more, instead of feeling a little bit awkward in spots. And then adding a little bit more diversity in the voice would have helped the song pop just a bit more as well. But musically, a lot of talent here. The guitar work was really solid, and I love the folky like tin whistle and stuff. But yeah, so that's my thoughts here on this song. Let me know, folks, in the comments down below. What do you think of this one here? Let's talk about it. I'll catch you next time. Ranger out.